I'm going to call the St. Tammany Parish Planning Commission meeting of Tuesday, September the 13th to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Seeger.
Here.
Grass. McInnes. Willie.
Here.
Doherty.
Here.
Barcelona. Fitzmaurice.
Here.
Fitzmaurice.
Here.
Crawford.
Here.
Smale.
Here.
Randolph.
Here.
Truxillo. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Public announcements, please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you disagree with any decision this commission makes, you have the right to appeal it to the council. There are appeal forms over on the railing to my right. If you wish to speak on any item, you need to fill out a speaker card and staff will get it up here to us. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak. Public speaking, 10 minutes each side, 5 minutes for rebuttal. Please exit the building after your case is heard. Please rise for the invocation by Commissioner Randolph and the pledge by Commissioner Willie.
Gracious Father, once again we come to you to say thank you. We thank you for life. We thank you for your grace and mercy. We thank you, Lord, for all the blessings you bestowed in our lives. Thank you for our families. Lord, we thank you for our parish, our government, our leaders, our employees, and we thank you for this commission, Lord, and we ask that you continue to bless us all. Bless those that's in the audience and all of our families that make up this St. Tammany Parish community. It's in your holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners, in your packet, we had the minutes from the July 12th meeting. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to accept the minutes. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, request for postponement, staff.
A request to postpone REV, the number 2 on the agenda, REV 2022 07008, and Mr. Jeff Shane is here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Shane.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Commission. I represent the petitioner in the second case. I will sound like a broken record because last month I told you that we had not completed the survey and topographic work that we need to submit to Public Works in order for this revocation to be finalized. So we believe that the work will be done and we should be in a position to come back to you in October. And for those reasons, we would respectfully request a postponement until your October meeting.
All right, thank you.
And
the person there with you?
yes, sir. Could I have just a personal privilege for just a moment?
Yes.
I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce Ms. Catherine Rickey to the commission. Catherine is a new associate at Jones Fussell. This is her first week. She's a recent graduate of the LSU Law School. She's a member of the Rickey family of Covington. We look forward to her being with Jones Fussell, but we also look forward to her learning about land development business and spending the first and second Tuesday of the month with you, so that maybe some of us that are a little gray in the hair and short of hair might eventually figure out there are other things to do on Tuesday nights. But Catherine will be coming with me in the future, and we appreciate you giving me this opportunity to introduce her to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me read this one into the record and then we'll go with the postponement. It's item 2 on the agenda, REV 22-07-008, the revocation of an unopened portion of 8th Street and an unopened portion of 9th Street located on the south side of Louisiana Highway 36, north of Tammany Trace, in the town of New Claiborne Subdivision, Ward 3, District 2, The applicant is Larry D. Terrell, and this is Parish Council District Representative, Honorable David Fitzgerald. Commissioner Seeger.
I move to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to postpone to the October meeting. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Helen, we got some more?
Yes, we also have a request to postpone on page 2, item number 9, 2022-3021 MRP. Mr. Paul Marone is here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Paul Marone on behalf of Mr. Jenkins. After consulting with Ms. Lambert today, and as you've seen in the staff report, this submittal is a bit of a mess, and we need some additional time in which to work with staff. I would ask that you please table this for 2 months so that we have ample time to meet with staff and clean up a lot of this before we come back to you. And we're just not sure that we'll have the opportunity to do that by the time we come back in October. So if you could extend it to your December meeting, that would be much appreciated.
December?
Excuse me, November meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let me read this into the record. It's item 9. The case number is 2022-3021-MRP, re-subdivision of plots 13, 15, and 18 of Lancaster Subdivision, a portion of a dedicated road right of way. It's 3.12 acres and 1.44 acres into plots 13A, 13B, 15A, 18A, 18B, and parcels D1 and D2, Lancaster Subdivision. The owner and representative is Donald R. Jenkins. Mr. Marone actually represented him. Surveyor is Randall W. Brown and Associates. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Reichert Toledano. General location, the property is located on the north side of Louisiana Highway 1088, west of Hickory Street, Mandeville, Ward 4, District 5. Commissioner Truxillo.
I make a motion to postpone for 2 months until the November meeting.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Truxillo to postpone until the November meeting. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seeger. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 2 months carries.
Thank you. All right, staff.
And finally, item number 11, 2022-2903 PP under preliminary subdivision review for Maison de Village subdivision. No revised plan has been submitted, so staff would like to request to postpone the case till September.
Okay. Item
October,
11.
I'm sorry, October.
Who was here?
Postpone till October.
October, okay. All right, this case is 2022-2903-PP, Maison de Village subdivision, developer owner, Mid-South Developers LLC, engineers J.V. Burks and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Kirk Drum. General location, the property located west of Louisiana Highway 433, south of US Highway 190, Slidell, Ward 9, District 11. This was postponed at the June, July, and August meetings. We have a request from staff to postpone until October. Commissioner Truxillo.
I make a motion to postpone to October.
Okay. A motion by Commissioner Truxillo to postpone till October. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to postpone till October carries.
Thank you.
No other request.
Okay, I think there was a note on 14. I don't know.
Lakeshore Village?
Huh?
You said 14?
Yeah, I thought I'd seen a note there that staff was requesting postponement. Mr. Shane?
We're recommending to postpone. However, we didn't get a request from
Helen?
Mr. Shane, I guess, is here to
Okay.
represent the case, and maybe you can clarify.
Yes, sir. We would like to discuss the case and hope that the commission might consider and move on it this evening.
Okay, there was a note in staff comments that staff recommending
Yes, sir.
postponement. So,
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the commission's feelings about cases that are staff asked to postpone, but I do have something in my briefcase that I'd like you to look at and
Okay.
when the case comes up. So if we could
all right,
figure the last case, it couldn't hurt.
okay, all right. I think that's all of the, Helen, that's all the cases to be postponed. Okay, good deal. All right, we'll go back to the head of the agenda, and we'll go to minor subdivision review, item 3, 2022-3001-MSP, a minor subdivision of parcel B and the parcels B1 and B2, owner and representative, Kimberly Gerald, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Martha Casabon. General location, the parcel located at the end of Henderson Road, south of Gotcha Road, Covington, Ward 1, District 3. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from parcel B. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B was previously part of a minor subdivision approved in April 2022, and parcel B2 is proposed to be accessed from a 30-foot servitude of passage requiring approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, and you are?
I'm Kimberly Gerald,
Okay,
so I'm requesting that the parish approve my request for parcel B1 and B2, the 6-acre and the 5.36 acre be classified as minor subdivisions with the servitude going through B1 to access B2.
all right. Thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of this zoning change? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
To approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Barcelona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, we go to the next case, item 4. Case is 2022-3008-MSP. A minor subdivision of 25.61 acres and 7 acres into parcels A, B, C, D, and E. Owner and representative is Joseph Pereri Jr., Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Martha Casabon. General location, the parcel is located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 40 and at the end of Bluebird Lane, Folsom, Louisiana, Ward 2, District 3. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 5 parcels from 25.61 acres and 7 acres. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel E is located at the end of Bluebird Lane and does not meet the minimum lot width required under the A1 suburban zoning district, and also requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. The minor subdivision of the 4 parcels is proposed to be accessed from a 35-foot access drive requiring approval from the Planning Commission. The 35-foot access servitude is proposed to be named Morgan Branch Lane and requires approval by the Planning Commission for the proposed name And also requesting a waiver to construct the 35-foot access servitude and the required drainage prior to the building permit being issued on parcels A, B, C, and D instead of prior to the plat being recorded. And the request shall be subject to items 1 to 6.
Okay, thank you. Someone here from representing on this case? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm Joseph Pieri, the owner and representative. So the parcel E that staff referenced being smaller than the approved 5 acres is to add on to the Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Smith's property. They have trying to make their current parcel of 7.12 acres. It's just going to add 2 acres to their piece, making it 9.12 acres. And so that's the reason for the 2 acres division on the back. Parcels A and B, I've got a verbal agreement to be purchased by the adjoining landowner to the north. So there's really going to be no development there. And then the 35-foot servitude will be going through his parcels A and B to access parcels C and D.
Okay. All right, anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone wish to speak against? Yes, sir, come forward, state your name and address.
Jeff Caston, I'm the
Yeah, come to the mic.
Jeff Caston, I'm the landowner to the south of it. I just have a question of why we need 35 feet to go to the back of a property that already has access from Bluebird Lane. Yes, that goes along my property line.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
My question is, why do we need a 35-foot drive when we only to access the 2 acres that already has access from Bluebird Lane?
Well, it's part of the parish ordinances.
Right, but you're adjoining that to somebody that already has acreage there. Is that property and the, so I'm kind of just, I don't understand. Maybe,
Mr. Chairman, may I answer that question?
Sure.
So the proposed servitude is not going to go all the way to the back. It's just going to go to parcel D.
Right, so now the other 25 acres that Mr. Pieri just stated is being sold to the person to the north. So he already has access to that property as well. So what's the purpose of the drive?
Well, the purpose of the drive is going to be to access C and D.
Right, which is
but
already has access to the property from the north if he's buying that. So that's becoming adjacent to his land.
If the owner to the north purchased A and B,
Right.
you will still need to have an access to C and D, which will go through
I don't have
A
it
and
C
B.
and D on the map. I only have A, B, and so maybe you can clarify that for me. Right, and so this man owns all this property, so he already has access to this, is that correct?
So if he purchases this here, you're still going to need access to C and D.
Thank you.
Okay, fill out a speaker card, please. Sir,
Jeff?
Oh, I'm sorry.
fill out the speaker card. They're over on the,
It's over there on the
Yeah,
podium.
I have one.
okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Judy Russell. I live at 12360 Bluebird Lane. I am adjacent to what you all are proposing for parcel E. I have met with both Ms. Casaban as well as the engineering folks today, and while the drainage is being addressed for parcels A, B, C, and D, it is not being addressed for parcel E, and it is completely inadequate for what is being proposed. When we looked at the amount of drainage that is on Quaglino, which is the road north of Bluebird, there's Quaglino, then there's Bluebird, there are 6 52-inch culverts draining the north into the south. The water runs north to south. When you get to Bluebird Lane, there is no drainage that is adequate to move that amount of water. Currently, when there's hurricanes or when there's heavy rainstorm, because everything is blocked at Bluebird Lane, which is moving into parcel E, that water actually comes in and drains and floods my property. So while it was addressed when you read the verbiage for parcels A, B, C, and D to assure for adequate drainage, there is nothing being proposed for parcel E. So currently, when the water goes through, there's nothing that prevents that water from washing into someone else's property. We did find today, Mr. Allison, the PE for your engineering department, did come out. We did look at it. There are dilapidated culverts, about 12 inches in diameter, which have not been kept up. There's a lot of tree debris, fallen trees, and it is completely unkept. So there is basically no drainage at the end of Bluebird Lane. So once you propose to add 2 more acres, Morgan Branch runs the parallel of what it would look like the east property line for parcel E. There's nothing there. So I did speak with Ms. Casaban. I also spoke with Mr. Allison. I told them that I was going to bring this up to you all. We have to make sure, because there are actually now 2, this minor subdivision, which is not really a subdivision, I get that, but you do have to account for the drainage. There's also another subdivision, which you all approved recently to the north, which fronts on Quaglino. That they've cleared all of that, but once you get to Bluebird Lane, there's nothing. So now Bluebird Lane, the end of Bluebird Lane, is actually sandwiched in with no drainage whatsoever. And so I'm asking, please, that I'm assuming you all will approve this, but please make sure that drainage is appropriately addressed, because right now Bluebird Lane has 0 drainage. And so what we have now are 3 farms on Bluebird Lane, and we're going to 12 farms, should you approve both of those. And there's no place for the water to go, except east and west, instead of north and south.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You spoke with engineering.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
They actually sent someone out today. I met with Mr. Allison. I think this gentleman may know him. So he did say that he would take it under advisement, but I also said that I needed to speak with you all, and they agreed, and so did Ms. Casaban.
Okay. All right.
Because there needs to be appropriations to make sure that there is drainage when you go from 3 farms to 12 farms.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else wish to speak against? All right, we'll go to rebuttal. Mr. Prieri, you have any comments?
Yes, sir. So I think staff kind of explained to Mr. Caston about the driveway when he said there was access from Bluebird Lane. There is no access from Bluebird Lane. The only access from Bluebird Lane will be to the Smiths, which would be parcel E. You know, parcels C and D does still need access from Highway 40, which is the reason for the 35-foot servitude. And as far as the drainage on parcel E, to what Ms. Russell was just referring to, we're not doing anything to parcel E except changing ownership of it. You know, what's there now is what's going to be. There's no development on that. It's only 2 acres. We're going to survey it, and that's going to be a wrap. The Smiths just wish to purchase it to give themselves a further buffer behind their house from further development at any given time. And as she said, I think she said going from 3 farms on Bluebird Lane to 12. I'm not sure where the 12's coming from, but that has no bearings on what's asking to be approved here on Bluebird Lane.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, some of those that spoke against, you wish to rebut?
I did make a clarification on the number 12.
Okay, come to the mic.
The reason that we're going, it's from a drainage perspective only. So right now, Bluebird Lane has no drainage. When the water moves from north to south, you've got 6 farms to the north of us and what will be, I think, 4 farms to the south of us. Again, when the water moves through, there's no place currently for the water to drain except wherever it will from north to south. So that's my only purpose. When you begin to build up, that's just going to make the water move more into people's farms where there is no drainage. And that's my only point for bringing that up.
Okay.
People will build up their property.
All right.
Thank you,
Let me
sir.
ask legal, what do we need to do on this? Do we need to hold it, postpone it, see what staff's gonna do or engineer's gonna do to get this water to drain? Ted?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, she's met with Stephen. He's working with us with our drainage complaints program. So we're going to log that. We'll be doing an inspection on it, which it sounds like he's already met you on site, determine some of the deficiencies. The next step on that is to determine if Public Works has any access or can change out any culverts, clean up any of the down debris that she referenced, do the, what we call, the quick and easy, simple solutions right now. And then if it's something more severe than that, it becomes a project that goes through engineering and Public Works and ultimately, hopefully, maybe a parent
Okay, so
project.
y'all have it under advisement to
Yes, sir.
check it all out?
If she's met with Mr. Stephen, it's in
Okay.
our queue, and
All
it'll
right.
be a drainage complaint in our complaint log until some action is taken on it.
Okay,
Yes,
good
sir.
deal.
And I would only add that any development of the property cannot cause any adverse impacts to any neighboring properties, and the parish will assure that that's the case as it goes through the permitting process.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir?
Just a question. Since I'm 2,200 linear feet to the south, does that make his drainage, his water, when you make that 35-foot servitude, is that going to be a paved road, gravel road? Is then that water going to be coming onto my property, or do you have to have some type of barrier so the water doesn't come off that road onto my property?
Staff?
So, part of the minor subdivision ordinance requires them to put in, it's a gravel road at a minimum. If they choose to do any above that, it certainly wouldn't be denied, but it would have to be accounted for in their civil plans that are gonna be reviewed by our engineering department. And that includes a drainage feature that's gonna convey the water to the appropriate Highway 40 drainage features. If you are also having any type of drainage issues like brought up now, I'd recommend you reach out to your engineering department and we can formalize it through a drainage complaint. And just like Mr. Taylor met with you, he would come out and meet with you and it would get into our system to be addressed.
Now, is any of this considered designated wetlands?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I believe some of it is, and then if that's the case, then you can't, it becomes a little tricky.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that based on this survey, and I have not been provided any of that information yet, but part of
Okay.
that is looked at when it's
Great.
reviewed for.
I just don't want the water coming onto my
No,
property,
absolutely,
that's all.
yes, sir. We don't want it coming on you either.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Just to clear me up here, parcels A through D will be accessed on Highway 40, correct?
Correct.
And only parcel E be accessed by Bluebird Lane.
That's correct.
And, yeah, I'm going to move for approval. It meets all the zoning regulations, everything, with the waivers.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve with the waivers. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seeger. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, item 5, case is 2022-3013-MSP, a minor subdivision of parcel B1 into parcels B1A and B1B. Owner and representative is Colleen Baker. Parish Council District Representative is Honorable David Fitzgerald. General location, the parcel is located on the south side of $1 Million Road, west of Jesse Hyatt Road, Covington, Ward 2, District 2. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create two parcels from parcel B1. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B1A does not meet the minimum lot width of 150 feet required under the A2 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Colleen Baker? Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, we started with the parcel being 4.25. We applied and were approved for a zoning change, and we just want to subdivide an acre out for our son to build a home. We want to gift him the acre and want him to have his own deed, so we'd like to do a minor subdivision.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Barcelona.
Want to make a motion to approve with the waiver?
Motion by Commissioner Barcelona to approve with waivers. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, next one's item 6. Case is 2022-3022-MSP, a minor subdivision of parcels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and remainder of parcels 5 and 6, and 2.81 acres into parcels 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A. Owners, Robert C. Sinclair Family Trust, Robert C. Sinclair, trustee, Barry Craig Sinclair, Annie Carlton Sinclair, William Luther Sinclair Trust, William Luther Sinclair trustee, Alan Noel Sinclair, and Jennifer Sinclair. Representative is Jeffrey Shane. Parish Council District Representative is Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the parcel is located on the north side of Brewster Road, east of Louisiana Highway 1077, Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
If you could please take a look at the revised staff report that I just distributed before the meeting. And the applicant here is requesting to create 5 parcels. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel 1A is proposed to be accessed from a 35-foot servitude of passage requiring approval from the Planning Commission. And the 35-foot access servitude is requested to be named Brew Claire, and it has been submitted and approved by St. Tammany Parish Communication District. And the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing the owners of this property who are also the petitioners. And as staff report simply states, to create 5 legal lots of record, all of which meet zoning and code requirements. We would respectfully request that you approve this minor subdivision, subject to, of course, the adding of the name to the 35-foot access servitude, which we'll have our surveyor do tomorrow. And then in due course, when we construct the street, we'll pick up, of course, the street sign and pole. If any of you have any questions, I'd be glad to address them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shane. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this item? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Barcelona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Requested. It's already cleared, I think.
Mr. Wheeler? The motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, item 7, case is 2022-3025-MSP, a minor subdivision of 20.66 acres into lots 3 and 4. Owners, Lacombe Business Park LLC, Representative Jeffrey Shane, Parish Council District Representative Honorable James Davis. General location, the parcel located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 434 south of Interstate 12, Lacombe, Ward 7, District 7. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 lots from 20.66 acres. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to lots 3 and 4 are proposed to be accessed from an existing 60-foot right-of-way. The 60-foot right-of-way is part of Lot 4 and is also providing access to lots 1, 2A, and 3. and a waiver of the required road construction standard from a minor subdivision since the road is already an existing 60-foot right-of-way with a 24-foot pavement already meeting standards, and the request shall be subject to item number 1.
Okay. Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff Shane again of the Jones Fussell Law Firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing Lacombe Business Park LLC, which is both the owner and applicant in this case. As you can see, we are simply asking that we create a minor subdivision for a 20.66 acre parcel into 2 legal lots of record, lots 3 and 4. I'm happy to say the access LBP Boulevard is already presently in place, and certainly it really exceeds the standards that would be otherwise required of any form of subdivision. But we do request, of course, the waiver as the staff report indicates. We understand that we will need to amend the plat to indicate the name of the boulevard on the plat. So if any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them. Otherwise, we would appreciate your consideration of approving this minor subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Shane. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Jeff, just had 2 quick questions. In making these lots, do you have any proposed use for them? Do you have anybody that's...
Yes, sir, we do. We have a pending contract on Lot 3 for someone that's going to put in a truck stop operation at that location.
Okay.
And in order for us to go to sale, one of the things we had to do was create the legal lot of record.
Okay. And the 60-foot right-of-way, that is part of Lot 4 as it is now, or is the line go down the middle?
Yes, sir, it actually goes down the middle. I believe the 60-foot right-of-way is split by the common boundary line between lots 3 and 4.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve with waivers?
Yeah,
Oh.
yes.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Randolph.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve with waiver carries.
Thank you. All right, item 7, 2022-3025. Whoop. Oh,
3040.
we did that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just had too many pieces of paper. All right, cases 2022-3040-MSP, a minor subdivision of 30 acres into parcels A, B, and C. Owner and representative is Mark I. and Tammy B. Martinez, and Mark I. Martinez Jr. Parish Council District Representative is Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the parcel located on the east side of Peg Keller Road, south of Louisiana Highway 435, Obeta Springs, Ward 6, District 6. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 3 parcels from 30 acres. The minor subdivision request requires public hearing due to parcel A, B, and C are proposed to be accessed from a 35-foot access servitude, requiring approval by the Planning Commission. The 35-foot access servitude depicted on the survey shall be named, and approval shall be granted by the Planning Commission. And also requesting waiver to allow the construction of the 35-foot access servitude and required drainage prior to building permits being issued on parcels A, B, and C. And the request shall be subject to items 1 to 7.
Okay. Thank you. Martinez here?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Council, for your consideration. I certainly do appreciate it. We're located about 7 blocks off of Peg Keller Road. We're pretty secluded back there. And when I originally bought this property in 2012, I always had the dream of just family, you know, my son and, of course, my daughter one day, and then, of course, my wife and I. and my wife and I are fixing to build a house, hopefully within the near future, and I wanted to subdivide it into 10-acre parcels if possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against? I'll close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Truxillo.
Sir? Any particular reason you got plans for it? To build?
Do I have plans to build the house?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the survey done by, I forgot the gentleman's name. Yeah, Mr. John Cummings. And Mr. Truxillo, if I'm being completely honest with you, my wife and I are building about a 1,700 modest square foot house, and I don't want to pledge 20 acres to it. That's my real motivation. I mean, I hate to say it. My daughter's young, and she's got years to go before. But it's like, you know, for a $180,000 loan, I'm putting up just as much property. So.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr.
Motion by Commissioner Truxillo to approve with the waiver.
With the waiver.
Good deal. Commissioner Willie.
Yeah, I'm looking at my little survey here. Where's parcel C? I only see A and B on my plan.
If you want to take a look at the revised staff reports that is submitted, but it was, Mr. Martinez informed me that the 10-acre that is shown as not a part was actually transferred before going through the minor subdivision.
So not a part is a part.
It's a part. It's becoming a part, so we can make this, this 10-acre a formal 10-acre and be part of this minor subdivision.
Okay. Second.
Second by Commissioner Willie with the waivers. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, we go to item 10. Case is 2022-3026 MRP, re-subdivision of lot Lot 2 into Lots 2A and 2B, St. Tammany Oak subdivision. Owner is Rouse Kingsmill LLC. Representative Gulf States Development Services LLC. Surveyor Dadding, Mark and Associates LLC. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Reichert Toledano. General location, the parcel is located on the north side of Park Place, east of US 190, Covington, Ward 3, District 5. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 lots from Lot 2. The re-subdivision request requires a public hearing due to, as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lots shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to items 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Good evening again.
Members of the commission, my name is Mike Soche. I'm president of Gulf States Real Estate and Development, and I'm here tonight representing the current owners, Rouse Food Stores. As you know, our company does development for Rouse. We've done several Rouse stores in St. Tammany, and this is part of an overall redevelopment project here. The site is located, everybody knows where Home Depot is. The site is located next to Home Depot, just around the corner. We did have some variances that were denoted by the Planning Commission. Last week, we received approval of the variances by mitigating several things associated with the creation of this lot. This is part of a larger redevelopment. It did require everything that you're looking at tonight, as well as the things that were presented to the BOA a week ago, had to be approved by Home Depot, which they were. And we just ask your approval of this re-subdivision. So in about 2 weeks, we will be making hopefully a major announcement regarding this project to the public.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Socha. Anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against on this project? Close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Barcelona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Hold you to it.
All right, final subdivision review. Item 12, 2022-3023-FP, Beatico Creek subdivision, parcel C2. Developer owner Beatico Creek Preserves LLC, engineers Kelly McHugh and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located on the northwest side of Louisiana Highway 1085, south of I-12, Madisonville, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
Yes, sir. Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and the final inspection was made on September 1st, 2022. The inspection disclosed that all of the concrete roads and roadside shoulders are constructed, and the roadside swales and subsurface drainage is functioning. The following uncompleted items, number 1 and number 2, exist at the time of the final inspection and will be completed before plats are signed. Should the Planning Commission approve the request for final approval, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 2,000 linear feet at $25 per linear foot for a total of $50,000 for a period of 2 years. Staff recommends approval of the proposed final subdivision request, subject to the developer complying with all comments and no plats to be signed until all items are satisfactorily completed. Thank you.
Mr. Marone, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Paul Marone again, this time on behalf of Beatico Creek Preserve LLC with regards to parcel C2. The only 2 items on the punch list have been addressed. Those were both, one was a plat item, one was on the paving and drainage plan. Mr. McHugh's office has already made those corrections and forwarded them to staff, so they'll be there once staff's able to get to that. All other items are complete. We'd respectfully request your approval of parcel C2, which is 31 lots on this 20.30 acres. Be happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marone. I have a speaker card from Mark Jacob. Against? Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you very much for listening to me. My name is Marie, not Mark, but that's my handwriting. I am here because I've tried everything else, and I have lived in Beatico Creek as a resident for 6 years. I have tried everything possible to address what I consider to be quality of life issues through the normal channels of Beatico Creek. When we first moved into the subdivision, everyone had a voice. There was an HOM that was very active. We had meetings, we had spreadsheets showing where all the money was going, and nothing has been happening. So pictures are worth 1,000 words. I have brought some things showing the difficulties that we're being faced with. And I've also brought a letter that I have written in hopes that I could get someone to listen to me. So I'm so sorry that it just fallen to be your job, because the representatives for Beatico Creek don't seem to hear. Please find enclosed pictures of problems that need attention in Beatico Creek subdivision. I believe they are self-explanatory, and I will not continue to elaborate. Streets are that of a third world country. I had someone come out to see about a tree. They were from Ziegler, and he said, "Ma'am, what's the name of this subdivision?" And I said, "Beatico Creek." He said, "What third world country do you all belong to?" He said, "It's called Madisonville." Okay. The streets are of a third world country. Crooked street signs need paint. Mailboxes are missing numbers, or no numbers at all. The lake is overgrown with lilies. There's no sign of an entrance to the subdivision. And the gate looks like it's engineering for a military installation. You'd have to see those pictures to believe it. Who made this decision that was necessary? I have no idea. As a homeowner, we have no vote, no say at all. We don't have any more homeowners associated meetings, so basically we have no voice in this subdivision. We have ever heard of taxation without representation? Come to Beatico Creek, because that's exactly what we have. We pay our $850, but we don't see where it goes, and we can't even get them to fix the streets. These pictures were dropped off to Christie. Supposedly Christie is the person who can make all this better. So that was in March. So I'm a very impatient female, sorry. By the time this rolled around, this was June 22nd. I had given her the pictures, I had told her the drainage, I had told her the water problems, I had told her about the streets. We're gonna take care of it. I don't think the streets are all that bad. To her, I'm sure that's correct. She comes into the main entrance, she parks with 2,000 feet, and she's in the little hut. She hasn't been driven back there in years to find out what the streets are like. So on March the 8th, they were dropped off to her. The roads aren't too bad, those are her exact words, aren't too bad, and we're working on getting them fixed. The problem is, with all the development that continues to go on in Beatico Creek, there's only one entrance. So any multiple-ton truck coming in with everything we need to make this new C2 work is going to be more damage to us who are there. And that's why I'm here. I don't know if I'm here at the right place. I don't know if I'm presenting myself correctly. Quality of life issues have changed for my subdivision, and I don't know who to go to. And now they're telling me they want to add more houses? I know his plan was to have 900 homes in the subdivision. By the time we get to 900 homes, we will have to be able to walk from the beginning of the subdivision to my home because there's no way to get there other than that one entrance. And the streets are deplorable, absolutely deplorable. Our streets are being destroyed by heavy construction vehicles. We don't have an excess, so each new home is given an amount to cover. Maybe you could even charge them to cover the street damage, I don't know. Our vehicles have rattles we've never had before. We can't expect to routinely travel roads without some type of vehicle problems. I'm also worried about the water and drainage. I'm sure you all know about when we had the flood, that one part of the subdivision did flood. And I know that's all been corrected. But what guaranteed to say that's all been corrected when we keep adding on when we can't correct the problems that we see now? So that's why I'm here. I have 34 seconds. Okay, I realize more construction puts a plus in Mr. Walmart's pockets, but we need a better quality of life and more protection of what we already have now. Thank you very much for listening. I don't know if this is the right place to have presented this, but I couldn't think of anything else to do. There's a big sign saying if you have any complaints, come to the meeting tonight. And if anybody would like to look at these pictures, this one I think you really need to see. These are just the roads. These are just the roads. We used to have, when I came into the subdivision, we had a beautiful sign. That got full of termites, and that's not there anymore. But we're getting another one. That's a promise. The lake, oh yeah, that was a promise. We're going to clean up all of those lilies. You could walk across if you were really good at it. But this is the one I think you really need to see. And of course, it's going to be the last one I can put my hands on. Okay, this is now the new military installation you can choose to come into the subdivision. Military. Who decided this was necessary? I have absolutely, and behind the military installation, we have the regular door, the wrought iron we always had before. But somebody thought this was extremely necessary. Want to see it?
We can take them and pass it around.
Oh, well, I don't, okay.
I've driven through it, I've seen it.
I know you have plenty on this agenda, but I think this goes to show that there's no representation. They just put up whatever they want or don't fix whatever they want. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
The problem is, Dave, if you want to address it, the problem is, it's a private subdivision. It's the HOA. Chuck Sillard can address it, he lives there.
Well, why would you rebuttal and then?
Okay. All right, Mr. Morone?
Thank you. Just a few comments. I certainly respect and understand Ms. Jacobs' frustration and concerns. I can't speak to all of the issues that she raised because I'm just not familiar with all the issues that she raised, but I am familiar with the streets and the issue with the streets. And what she says is very real. The streets they've had some major failures in some of the streets, at the entrance in particular. The developer is aware of that. I spoke with Councilman Dean as recently as today about it. I've spoken to him about a week ago as well. And I can tell you that the developer is well aware of those issues. There is work that was supposed to commence, at least in the gate area, as recently as this week. I don't know whether that's happened yet, but that is imminent. They have investigated and are bidding out the work and the rest of the development to fix those streets. So Ms. Jacobs is correct. There are problems with the streets and the repairs that need to be made. The developer is aware of those and is working toward getting those done, and will have those corrected. As far as some of the other issues, I know there, as I said, there's going to be work on the streets and the gate. Part of that street work will include the street signs. I am not familiar with situations regarding the mailboxes or the numbers on the mailboxes, but I can certainly bring that to the attention of the developer. And I know the developer is also aware of the issue with the lakes. There are a number of lakes and ponds in that area, as well as swales. There is an effort to clean all of those. Now, there hasn't been a lot of work done in the last several months there, of course, because of some of the rain we've had. That's not an excuse. There's still work that needs to be done there. He is aware of that and intends to fix those items in due course. So with regards to C2, I'm not sure what else we could do with regards to C2. I mean, we've addressed all of the items that we have. These issues are really internal to Beatico Creek, which I don't say that to minimize them by any means, because that's not my intent. I believe that they are legitimate, significant issues that need to be addressed, that I will follow up with the developer on. I will continue to communicate with Councilman Dean on. Not that he has any direct control, but he and I have had numerous discussions about it, and I've pledged to him that I would follow through with the developer on those issues, and so I'll continue to do that and make sure that these are on the forefront in hopes that we can get a schedule and regiment so that we can work through these issues of the streets, the street signs, the entrance features, as well as the drainage and the cleaning of the ponds. So I'm not sure what else I can say about those issues other than I understand them, I appreciate them, and I'm going to follow up with the developer on those. But with regards to C2, I believe that we've done what we can do as far as meeting the ordinances. We'd like to have final approval of that. That should not take away from the need to fix these problems that we will continue to work on in the future.
Paul, the drainage that you commented on, is that getting the lilies out of the pond?
Yeah, it'd be cleaning the pond. I mean, the drainage is functioning, but there are some aesthetic issues that need to be done, and cleaning out those ponds is one of them.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, do you have any further comment?
My only comment would be this, in the comment, maintenance is the problem. And I thank you for addressing that. Maintenance and empty promises. Those are the two things that seem to be a problem. I thoroughly am appreciative of the fact that these are going to be addressed. I would very much appreciate it. We started this in January, and that's why I'm here now, because we're already in September. Need to be addressed, needs an end date, a definite date, and show us the maintenance. Just show us the receipts for the maintenance, sir.
Ma'am, I believe this is a private subdivision?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
But you have to approve its planning.
Well, this is the final approval on this subdivision, okay? And I don't think we can table this either.
Okay.
I think
That'd be a problem.
yeah.
Oh, okay, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. So because this is a private subdivision, because the people who own it have made these decisions to change everything, there's really nothing we can do.
Your HOA.
We have no HOA.
Can I, Phil
Yeah.
is there if you want. Can I talk?
Yeah, let me go to Commissioner Randolph Seeger, and then I'll come to you, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so very much for listening.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Commissioner Randolph.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I'd like to yield my position right
Okay.
now to Mr. Truxillo.
Okay. Commissioner Truxillo.
Paul, how you doing, buddy? First, I want to address what the lady was talking about. The HOA is based on percentage of voters. Unfortunately, the developer will always have 51% of the land, so he gets all the votes. It's a terrible situation, unfortunately, but it is a private subdivision. The road issue is our issue now, even though the construction of these homes, the expansion of the subdivision is causing the deterioration of the roads. So I just want to answer your concerns, and I'm 100% behind you, and I understand. But unfortunately, HOA is a private subdivision. You know, if this wasn't a final subdivision approval, it would have been difficult. But Paul, this is for you. You add more homes here, and we talked about this before, about ingress and egress. My concern, and I think you need to bring it home to the developer, is that he really needs to look at a second ingress and egress. And the reason why, I'm worried about the safety, welfare, quality of life of the residents of that subdivision. You know, Beatico Creek does go out of its bank and it floods the front of the subdivision. So, you know, a couple of days of high water doesn't mean too much, but yes, it does. First responders, something happens in that subdivision while it's flooded. Time is the essence for saving lives, saving structures. And when it floods with one entrance and exit, it delays that. Plus the fact that automobiles are stalled in a roadway, so the emergency responding unit has to go around them or go on the neutral ground, whatever, and that delays them. So I am very concerned about this. I'm very concerned about the safety and welfare of the people that live in that subdivision. And unfortunately, this is the final approval of it. It was way before. This has been going on for how many years now? 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it was. Yes, you know, a long time ago. 25 years, excuse me. I've been corrected. But it is what it is, ma'am. I feel your pain because I understand it. I understand private subdivisions. I live in that subdivision. So, you know, I understand what's going on there. But please bring back to the developer my concern for a second ingress and egress. We're saying that I have to make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Truxillo to approve. Mr. Morone, you have a comment?
Just very briefly, I just wanted to acknowledge what Mr. Truxillo said. That is an issue that he has brought up to me before, and I know that he has been greatly concerned about that. I have brought that to the developer. I'm going to bring it back to the developer as he has asked, and I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Commissioner Seeger.
I just wanted to make a comment before I second that motion. And the comment I have is that when we're seeing these new subdivisions in these low-lying areas, I think it's going to be a lot harder to get this commission's approval to do something without building on piers. And I just wanted to bring that up for future developments that are in low-lying areas, just to let you know where it seems like this commission is going. And that being said, I'll second the motion to approve.
We have a second by Commissioner Seeger. Commissioner Barcelona.
Question for legal. As far as the authority that the parish has over a private subdivision, what authority does the parish have? I guess, you know, regarding code enforcement, for instance. Does the parish have any authority over the issues like that you mentioned, or?
I mean, we do at this stage of the process where we go out and inspect those roads and make sure that they're constructed to our parish standards. Once those have been approved and once all warranty obligations have run out, there's really not much the parish can do. It becomes really a private civil matter between the homeowners and their HOA to enforce, what it is that the HOA should be abiding by.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Randolph.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Truxillo. You living there, you gave a better perspective of what's there, and also to coincide with what Ms. Jacobs said. I want to tell you that we feel you, and you did a wonderful presentation. It was very sincere. Unfortunately, what my other fellow commissioners have stated, it's a consensus. It's just one of those things that we really can't do anything about. And I support the motions.
Commissioner Smale.
So Commissioner Truxillo, so this is, do we have to approve this expansion? And I mean, why would we approve this expansion if you have one entrance? All the trucks are going to come in one entrance and wreck the roads even further. Why would you support this expansion and future phases that are coming?
I'm going to let legal answer that question.
Yeah, we just have to remember where we are in this process. Again, this is not a PUD approval, it's not a zoning issue. The PUD plan has been approved for many, many, many years with this plan, with the single entrance. So we are currently at just the final subdivision stage, and that's when we look to Chapter 125 and look to what those, I think there are like 25 criteria for final subdivision review. And that's what the staff does. They go out and do site visits, and in their staff report, they make any comments regarding what may be deficient based on the criteria for final subdivision review only. And in this case, there's really only 2 staff comments that were really just kind of paperwork issues, not any issues dealing with construction. So the basis of the final subdivision review is what our ordinances require for final subdivision review, and if those criteria have been met, subject to the staff's visit and their staff report.
So this is a PUD. It does have sufficient green space. The one entrance was approved. You can present your concerns to the parish council also if this is, I guess she could she actually appeal this?
No, if it gets approved, a final subdivision approval cannot be appealed to the parish council.
It's not going to go to the council under appeal. Yeah, I guess just trying to understand how their hands are tied. And HOA, you said that an HOA, they own 51% of the lots in the neighborhood? The developer does?
Yeah.
51% of the land.
So you own the land or the lots themselves? I mean, why would the HOA?
Whatever, however that cover, I'll jump in. So I live in Indian Trace subdivision right across the way. We deal with the same thing. At one point in time, our developer only had 2 lots left. So we took over the HOA. And there's probably something written in the covenants along those lines. Usually the covenants are pretty general. Once that developer no longer owns, and Paul could speak to this at some point, I'm sure it'll happen. Once he no longer owns the majority, then the homeowners will take over the HOA and be responsible for everything, which could be more unfortunate because you don't have a developer to say, go fix the roads and complain to. Your dues would probably increase, but you can get things done that way.
But you have to pay a dues to somebody where you're not even,
there are dues in the
you have no
subdivision.
voice in the matter at all?
Yeah, you still have to, well, when you buy the property, you agree to pay the dues in that private subdivision.
Absolutely. And Mr. Truxillo mentioned that the roads were our problem now, where you said, does that mean they're parish issues?
No, their problem.
No.
Okay,
It's our problem.
Homeowners, he means.
Homeowners.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for helping me understand the situation.
It's not great.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's not a good situation, but,
It happens in every private subdivision.
Yeah.
Every one. So.
Commissioner Willie.
I know this is final, and I'm good with this one, but just carry on the conversation, in future phases, when they come to tentative and preliminary, can we take the condition of the existing roads as part of our decisions in that part?
That's a bigger question.
I would need to go back and review the criteria for tentative and preliminary. If it got tentative approval with the PUD, it would not come back for tentative, it would just come back for preliminary.
So-
But there may be something in our ordinances that allow you to take into account, since the trucks that are going to be developing that area are going to have to traverse the roads that are already in place.
Right, you have to get to that new section by using old roads that may not be in, satisfactory.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you tonight, but I'll take a closer look
Would
at
that be
that.
something we can look at, or, catches our attention next time we have a preliminary?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bernie. There's something for future that we should be able to do, so. All right, Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Paul's taking notes, and I think he's the best messenger in this instance. Just to let the developer know that there are some issues from the homeowners, from the commission, some things that probably need to be addressed before the continuation goes on.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 2022-3023-FP. Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Thank you. All right, next item is 13. Case is 2022-3028-FP, Money Hill Subdivision, Phase 8C, developer owner, Money Hill Plantation LLC, engineers J.V. Burks and Associates Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the property is located north of Country Club Drive, west of Money Hill Parkway, north of Louisiana Highway 435. Avita, staff?
Yes, sir. Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and the final inspection was made on September 1st, 2022. The inspection disclosed that all of the existing roads and roadside shoulders are constructed and the roadside ditches are functioning. No warranty obligation is required because the existing infrastructure was constructed in a prior phase of Money Hill subdivision. Staff recommends approval of the proposed final subdivision request, subject to the developer complying with all comments, and no plats to be signed until all items are satisfactorily complete. Thank you.
Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing Money Hill Plantation LLC, and seeking final subdivision approval for Phase 8C, which I'm sure all of you remember because it hasn't been that long ago that it came before you as a major amendment to the PUD, and then last month we came to you for combined tentative and preliminary. I think the staff report tells the story. I'm happy to say there are no requirements that are outstanding. The only information there is informational, all of which we will comply with. So with those thoughts in mind, we respectfully request that you grant final subdivision approval for Phase 8C. If any of you have any questions or concerns, I'll be glad to address them at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shane. I don't think there's anyone else left in the audience. All right, I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Barcelona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barcelona. And Commissioner Truxillo turned his light off.
I was seconded, but here we go.
All right. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Please vote.
The motion carries to approve.
All right, we go to item 14. Case is 2022-3029-FP, Lakeshore Village Subdivision, Phase 9B, developer owner D.R. Horton Incorporated, Gulf Coast, engineer surveyor Duplantis Design Group, P.C., Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Jake Airy, general location, property located north of Oak Harbor Boulevard, west of Louisiana Highway 433, east of Interstate 10, Slidell, Ward 9, District 13. Staff?
Yes, sir. Periodic inspections have been made by this office and during construction, and the final inspection was made on September 2nd, 2022. The inspection disclosed that all the asphalt roads are constructed and the subsurface drainage is functioning. Staff recommends postponement of this submittal due to the following uncompleted items, number 1 through 10, that existed at the time of the final inspection and review. Planning Commission approval shall be subject to the following items being completed before plats are signed. Excuse me. Additionally, should the Planning Commission approve the request for final approval, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 3,888 linear feet at $22 per linear foot for a total of $85,536 for a period of 2 years. No mandatory developmental fees are required since a public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. Thank you.
Mr. Shane.
Mr. Chair, Jeff Shane of the Jones Giselle Law Firm at P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing D.R. Horton, Inc., Gulf Coast, in connection with our request for final subdivision for Phase 9B of Lakeshore Villages subdivision. I recognize that it's somewhat out of the ordinary to ask you to consider final subdivision approval when staff recommends postponement. When we got the staff report last Wednesday, we took a look at the 10 items and knew that those items either had been, were being, or would soon be completed. And so for that reason, I've given you a memo, and in fairness to Ms. Sanji, who sent me that email this afternoon, I sort of wish I'd have clipped off the first 2 lines saying that she didn't have time to send me something pretty. But I was out of the office as well, and this was the best we could do. But I wanted you to have a copy of the email because I would like to comment as it relates to the 10 requests to let you know that these items, again, either have been or currently or will soon be completed. Item 1, the stabilization started today and will be completed tomorrow. Item 2, the blue reflectors are on site and are scheduled to be installed this week. Number 3, only a concrete apron around the inlet needs to be repaired and made flush, and we expect that to be finished tomorrow. Item 4, the remaining signs will be installed this week or early next week. Item 5, the stabilization was started today and will be completed tomorrow. Item 6, the contractor is scheduled to lower the top of the structure, regrade the surrounding area, and again, that work will be completed this week or early next week. Item 7, you'll remember, was asking that the streets be cleaned. This is an ongoing process. It's being done daily or every other day, so we are conscious of the fact that at the time of the inspection, the streets needed cleaning. Items 8 and 9, those revisions have been made and will be provided to staff tomorrow. As you know, staff requests that no thing be provided to them until after this meeting. And then the acceptance letter has been requested of the utility company. We believe that none of these requirements really impact, if you will, the general condition of the subdivision. As you know, the plats will not be signed and recorded until staff has made further inspection and or received appropriate reports confirming that these items have been taken care of. We have sales scheduled for lots in this phase next month. That's the reason that we respectfully request that you consider granting final this evening. Again, I would say that if you have questions, comments, concerns, I'll be glad to address them as we have our discussion this evening.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shane. Well, let's close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
I don't know if this needs to go to Jeff and Ms. Sanji. Items 1 and 5, they need to be stabilized with seed or sod. We've been kind of going over this for a year now. Is it going to be seeded or is it going to be sodded? And if it's going to be seeded, it needs to be hydro-seeded, not just seeds thrown out on the ground to wash away in the next rain.
They will be matted and seeded. So it should be stabilized quickly.
Thank you.
And one thing I should mention in response to that, but for the last, 5 days, I think we all know what the rain pattern has been for the previous, would it be 30 to 40? And so that has been some of the difficulty in accomplishing some of the tasks that you see here. That's not just true for this development, it's true for all developments. But thankfully now we've finally had a break in the weather, and some of these things now are actually being performed.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Seaver to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I'm going to second, and it's pretty rare for me to go against the wishes of staff, but in this instance, I think you've made a case that everything that they had in their comments is being addressed, and as you pointed out, the plats won't be signed until it's all concluded anyway, so, and I'm getting a nod from staff that, so I think we're good. I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Smale.
Yes, I was going to ask staff, what procedures are in place to make sure that these concerns are fixed? That
Yes, sir. To speak to what they just said, the final plat won't be recorded until we get notification from the engineer of record that all 10 items have been addressed. And at that time, we'll go out and do a confirmation inspection to ensure that all the field work has been done, and we'll do a review of any of the revised documentation to meet that, to make sure that the plan revisions have also been done. And until all of those 10 items are addressed, we won't sign those plats, which means they can't go to active sale on any of those lots. So the recording of that plat is kind of our check and balance on making sure items 1 through 10 get done.
Okay, so they can't go to active sale until the plat is
Correct.
complete?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Crawford.
Just had a quick question for staff. Ted, I think you're the one that was speaking to this. The two items that I found important are items 3 and 6, but it seems like you've seen this sheet, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you okay with this being passed tonight?
To be completely honest, I mean, reading through that, I know that they typically get things done very quickly. The reason the staff report is written as it is at the time of my inspection, these are the deficiencies.
Okay.
At that time, if that's what they are, that's how we're gonna write the staff report. Unfortunately, there is a lag time here where it comes a week ahead of time.
Mhm.
So they do realistically have a week to get things done, and now they know the problem, so they typically go out and get them done. I have not put my eyes on it to verify these, but
No.
I would reckon they would not come to you with, this is complete if it's not complete yet. But I
Okay.
will-
Okay, that's all I had.
don't feel overly concerned about it, but no, it will get done, and speak to what I just said, we won't report a plat until it is done.
Right.
However, to give some understanding of why I write that report like I do, at that time, that's what I noticed. If they would come back and say, I don't have this email of 1 through 10, then those
Different
deficiencies
story.
will still exist today, thus require a postponement, but if they're completed, they're completed, so.
Okay.
It's kind of that lag time that really, really gets us.
Okay. As long as the staff's good, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Thank you for your consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we have no new business. Do we have an adjournment?
So moved. So moved.
Thank you. Boy, we better mark this one down.